was even better there.
Hello.
Hei, Anna. Hvordan går det på Vestfossen?
Det går bare bra, takk. Det er snart høst.
Ja, begynner å bli kjøligere.
Wow.
Ja, jeg tror det er over 30 grader hos dere.
Ja, det skal bli 43 nå på fredag. Alt for varmt.
Ja, ok. Ja, her er det begynner å bli gult overalt da, så da er det høst. Ganske tidlig høst da. Hello, everybody.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Yes. How are you doing, everybody? Oh, wow. Jacobi, hi. How are you doing from out there, from India?
Shalom.
Yes, shalom, shalom. Good to see you, Tony. Good to see my parents. Good evening. Tony, I've heard that you spoke a bit of Sweden here. It's good, it's good.
Ja, me and Anna and Morgan.
Yes. Good to see also the England people. Travis, good to see you also. Angelica, Miguel, Netzach, we can see you. Netzach and Oleg, both of you together. Please open your camera for a moment, please. Hi, Netzach, good to see you. Oleg, can you open your camera? Both of them from the
Yes. Just a second. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I want you, Oleg, to meet Netzach, and I want you, Netzach, to meet Oleg. And after this meeting, I will join both of you because both of you can speak in the Czech language.
Sure, with a pleasure.
Yeah, sure.
Just like Anna and Hans spoke with in the Sweden, no, not Sweden. What language?
Norwegian.
Norwegian language. Oleg, let's see you for a moment. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all from all over the world, all the people that are joining us. I think that we are managing to do here peace along the world, you know, like more or less it's similar to the King Solomon era, that there was peace in this world. So it's nice to see all sorts of people from all over the world that are joining together for a meeting and learning together from the Bible. Today we're going to go inside to the main part where it's starting to speak about us, not about all sorts of metaphysic things up there in heaven where we don't see things. Oleg, Netzach, we can't see you. It's amazing. Okay, I will start.
Great.
Oh, here's Oleg. Oleg, good to see you. Long time no see. Netzach,
nice to see you again.
Yeah. Oleg and Netzach, meet each other. You see each other? Okay, both of you from the Czech Republic, both of you are Noahide people, both of you have few friends of Noahide. So it's a time that also you will have a bit more connection with each other. Okay, so after this meeting, I'm going to connect both of you through the email. Okay.
Great. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So we have also from South Africa, from South America, also people, South Africa, South America. Let's dive inside to the learning, okay? I'm going to surprise you a bit at this time, and we're going to, since I got such a very long email from one of the participants here in this room, so I'm going to, I prepared myself a bit more, and we're going to speak. Oh, come on. Okay, excellent. We're going to speak about Cain and Abel. Okay, these things. So we're going to start with the chapter number 4. But to start with chapter number 4, I need to explain a few points before. And now, please don't hesitate. If you have questions or something, please ask. Don't be shy. Okay, it's a session of learning, and it's something that we want to learn together. The first point that I want to say, that until now, until chapter number 4, we're speaking about Adam and Eve, and both of them were not born with mother and father. Okay, we need to remember that. It's some sort of a unique way of becoming in this world. So for us, it's something that we don't really understand, because all of us came from father and mother. All of us can point who is our mother, who is our father. Maybe because all sorts of circumstances, we can't really point, we lost the connection. But usually, everybody can say he came out from someone's womb, okay, from some woman's womb, and there is also a father who brought him here to this world. This is something that Adam and Eve never had in their life. Therefore, we have something very unique, and with Cain and Abel, the history of this world is starting. Another very important point that we need to mention before we're starting, that usually the history people are trying to observe what's happening in this history according to people who are doing all sorts of very unique things, like Napoleon, like, I don't know, maybe big philosophers, all sorts of people who are mentioning and doing a lot of great things in this world. The difference is that the Torah, the Bible, is trying to show us the point of view of God in this world. And the history of this world is every generation have its own main core of the generation. Okay, main person who is leading the generation. And this main person is trying to bring the world to the next step that God wants us to bring this world. For example, and this is also how I opened this lesson, we know that we want to bring the world to a peace that all of the people will manage to live together in a great way, okay, in peace and harmony. The first stage that wanted to do this was Cain and Abel. Now, another very big mistake, we already know the story, okay? We know that Cain killed Abel. But let's try to read the verses step by step where we don't know what is the next move, okay? Because don't forget, in their times, the next move, they had all the opportunities open to decide for themselves what is the next move that they're going to take. Cain had all the possibility not to kill Abel, but he killed him, okay? Or he slaughtered him. So we need to look on each stage and the way that we don't know the next step, and there's a lot of possibilities. And another thing that it's a point of view that God is looking on how this world is going on step after step to the situation where the world will manage to live together in harmony and in a good way. We can see this a bit with we call this the Messiah, okay? The Messiah of the Hebrew people is the son of King David. And who was the son of King David? We call this in Hebrew Ben Adam. It was Solomon. And we know that in Solomon's time, there was no war in this world, and everybody lived in peace and harmony together. And a lot of people came to the Temple Mount to sacrifice and to also not only the Jewish people, okay, also not only the Hebrew people, also people from all over the world. So there was an age, an era that the world managed to live in peace and harmony for 40 years, something like that. And since then, we are looking again for this time. And now we can start to dive inside to the story of Cain and Abel. And another last point that we must explain, and this is something very important to note, that there is in the Hebrew language, we are not teaching the Hebrew language here, maybe we need to. There is in the Hebrew language, it's a very unique language, okay? Not like any other languages. By the way, the Kuzari book, Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, 800 years ago, he wrote already that the Hebrew language wasn't like the other languages that people accepted upon themselves this language. The Hebrew language is something that God created. Now, one of the main differences is that each letter of the Hebrew language have a meaning like a word. And when you're building up, you're taking few letters and you're building them up, you're managing to build up a full house with few bricks, but each brick also have, each letter also have a meaning. And I want to show an example, okay? The example that I'm going to take is the male and female, okay? In the Hebrew, it's zachar u'nekeva, male and female. This is the level we spoke about this. This is the level of the, like the animals. Also, the animals have male and female. Then we have in the mankind, through the logic side, we have the men and women, ish ve'isha. And when we're going on another step, and the men and women are getting married, and each one of them is not speaking about the other one like some sort of a massive person, but also as a personal person. So we have also their own name, Adam v'Chava, Adam and Eve. This is a personal name, because each one of us also have a personal name. And here we're going to the insights of the Hebrew language, where we see the words ish ve'isha, okay, men and women, have the same wordings, the same letters, aleph and shin, and have a different letter, each one of them. So each one of them both of them have the same letters, aleph and shin. Who knows what aleph and shin is in Hebrew? The word esh. Who knows what the word esh is in Hebrew?
Fire.
Fire.
Sounds like fire to me.
Fire, flame, okay? So ish ve'isha, both of them have a fire, flame, but also each one of them have a unique letter. One have the word, the ish, the men have the word, the letter yud, and the women have the letter hey. And this is what our sages are saying, ish ve'isha, zachu, if they are managing to work together, they have the word of God inside them. Yud and Hey, it's the word of God. Yeah. And if they don't have peace and harmony between them, so it's a fire between them. It's a fire. So this is how it's contained from the Hebrew language. This is how we're playing with the wordings of the Hebrew language. Now, almost every word in the Hebrew language, even if it's with 4 letters, it's being built up with each letter that is a full understanding and a full meaning, and also all the 3 or 4 letters or 2 letters together also giving another new meaning. Another thing that I want to show, for example, is the word kinyan. What is the word kinyan? Kinyan is a buyer, property, accurate. It's something that is mine, okay? I, for example, have a device that is a smartphone. When it's mine, I'm calling this, it's kanui, it's mine. It's mine. Why I'm saying all of this? Because we're going to go inside now to the wordings and the names of the people that are going to that are going to be born in our history. And we need to understand that the wordings of those people, not Hebrew people, of those people have a meaning, There is for every word, there is a meaning. We need to understand the meaning. When we will understand the meaning, we will start to understand their purpose in life, okay? So let's start to go inside and to dive inside to Cain and Abel. All of this was till now only some sort of premises that we will start to understand how to look on this history that we're going to speak about. So I will give an example and then we will continue on. When we say in Hebrew, what is your name? The word Shem, what is your name? The word Shem, those 2 letters, Shin and Mem, are the same word of the word destiny. What is your destiny? What is your destiny in life? So usually when someone is coming to me and saying to me, what is your name? And I'm saying, my name is Chaim. It's not only how people are calling me, okay? There's also a deep meaning to the name Chaim, okay? The name Chaim is the name of life, okay? Multiply of life that my parents gave me, okay? Thank you very much. It's a very nice name. So it's also giving some sort of my destiny in this world, okay? I need to give life to others, for example. Okay, so each one of us have a name, and his name is also destiny. And we can see that also in the verse in Genesis chapter 2, where God is taking, okay, he formed from the earth every beast of the field and every fowl of the heavens, and he brought it to the man to see what he would call it. And whatever man called each living thing, that was its name. So men have a unique possibility with his recognition, with his mind, to define exactly what is the purpose, what is the name, the purpose of each thing in this world. Now we can see this today in the universities, where we have a lot of faculties that are explaining all sorts of ideas in all sorts of ways, but they are defining those things. By the way, if you don't know, usually the first year in the faculty, they are explaining the same things in different ways, because in each faculty, they're teaching it in the different, I will say, they're giving different names to the same appearance of something that's happening, okay? Things that's happening in mathematics and things that's happening to the society, all those things. In the first year, first of all, they're giving you the etymology, the wordings of those, of our faculty. But usually they are the same issues or the same things that's happening. And this is one of the uniqueness of men, to understand and to call the name, or in other words, the destiny of each thing that's happening here. Okay, so till now, we just gave only the opening. Let's start to go inside. Sorry. I want to give an example. Now we're starting to go inside, to dive inside. To give an example of changing the name is also changing the destiny. It's an example that I think most of the people here are supposed to know that, but if not, this is an opportunity to acknowledge this example, that Abraham in the beginning was called without the letter Hey, okay? He was called Avram. Avram is two words, that he is a father. Av is a father. Ram is a high, okay? He is a very high priest. People appreciated him, okay? This is the wording of Avram. And Avram saw that in the normal destiny that he won't have any kids. This is what Avram saw. So God took him outside. This is what's written down in Genesis 15, yes. 17, sorry. In Genesis 17, God is taking Abraham outside, and he's telling him, according to his simple meaning, he took him outside of the tent, okay, outdoors, to see the stars. But according to its midrashic interpretation, okay, what our sages are saying to us, he said to him, go out from your astrology, go out from it, for you have seen in the signs of the zodiac that you are not destined to have any son. Indeed, Abraham will have no son, but Abraham, if you will put another letter of my word inside you, okay, will have a son. And similarly with Sarai, her name in the beginning was Sarai, will not give birth, but Sarah, if you will change her name, you will change her destiny. She will give birth. And I will give you another name, and your destiny will change. This is what is written down in Rashi, or in the Genesis, in Rabbi, okay, in the Midrash. When you're changing your name, you're changing your destiny. Okay, an example, and this is what happened. Abraham and Sarah, they didn't have kids until Abraham was in the age of 99. He changed his name, God changed his name, and then he had a son. His son was Isaac. Before that, Abraham had a son not from Sarah, he had a son from Hagar, okay, the daughter of the Pharaoh. And Sarah didn't have a kid before that. Only after God changed her name, she had a different destiny, and then she had her son, Isaac. Now, when we started to understand the meaning of the name, we can go inside and start to learn what's happening with Cain and Abel. Go with me step by step. It's different than what usually people are looking to. Okay, it is different. First of all, the first thing that we have, והאדם ידע את חווה אשתו, ותער ותלד את קין, ותאמר קניתי איש את השם. Now the man knew his wife Eve, and she became pregnant and bore Cain, and she said, I have acquired a man with the Lord. Now there are a lot of things here in this. This is the first verse of chapter 4. There are a lot of questions in this verse. I know that usually we know this verse, so we're reading it. But there is, first of all, the note, I think we said it more than once, that now the man knew, okay? And we explained this, that this is a very big difference between how the Hebrew people are looking on the history and the Christian people are looking at the history, okay? The Christian destiny. The Hebrew people say, when it says, now men knew, so we're speaking about something that happened before Adam and Eve were kicked out from Eden, okay? When we're saying before, and the men knew, this took place, this is what Rashi is saying from the Midrash, prior to the above episode. Before the sin was, before he sinned and he was banished from the Garden of Eden. Also the conception and the birth took place before, okay? So we're speaking about something that happened before. What Rashi is trying to teach us is like that. We do agree today that we are all trying to fix up the sin of Adam that we spoke last week, okay, from chapter 3. But it's not that each one and one of us, when he is born, he is already filthy with the sin. Okay, each one of us that was born like Cain and Abel, before the sin. So each one of us, first of all, is a decent person who have all the possibilities to behave okay in this world, to behave right in this world, to behave gentle in this world. Okay? Now, the Christian world is saying, no, you see, when exactly Adam and Eve gave the birth? Only after the sin. So each one of us is filthy with the sin. No. So this is the first point that we need to know from this verse, because we spoke about this a few times. I'm running this up, okay? If you have questions, we'll answer for those questions. Let's continue on. The next thing that is very unique in this verse, and we don't realize about this uniqueness, is that it says that she came pregnant and she bore Cain. Think about this. Both of them, Adam and Eve, who were born not in a normal situation, never in their life saw that someone could get pregnant and could give birth. It's a very unique thing. It's a surprising thing. Now we are so usual with this thing of the pregnant and people are getting born and everything is okay. Okay, and today, especially today, with all of the things that we have in the medicine and everything else, that we got progressed very nicely. So it's very simple for us. So reading this verse and saying to ourselves, very nice. Just a moment, it's a surprising thing. It's something that they never thought that will happen. Our sages are saying, they went to bed, two people, Adam and Eve, and they came down with another 7. I will explain this later on. Okay, they came down with more. Suddenly, they asked themselves, "What happened here?" Suddenly, she became pregnant. Now, the word "became pregnant" is very unique, also in the Bible. We have it only something like 48 times or something like that in the Bible. Usually, it's written down that she bore the next generation. Usually, we're not saying she got pregnant. The word "pregnant" is trying to teach us that there is something unique here. Okay, the man is giving something, the seeds. The woman is putting this in the oven for 9 months, and then something new is coming. It's not the same thing. She didn't bore Adam. She bore something new. Now, usually when we're reading those verses, we're saying to ourselves, it's very simple to read it. That's it. No. Listen for a moment, see what's happening here. If you were Adam or Eve, you were very surprised. Something here is very unique. Okay, now another thing that is unique here, that she bore Cain. It's a bit strange. I think it was supposed to write down here, and that she bore a son, and she said, I have acquired a man with the Lord, therefore I'm calling him Cain. Now, what is the word Cain? I'm going back to the slide that we showed before. The word Cain is saying that something is mine, I bought it, it's my property, I acquired it, it's mine, altogether it's mine. Now, the normal way to write it in the Bible is that she said to herself, I bought something here, I brought life here to this world, therefore I will call it Cain. He was born with his name. And, she became pregnant and bore Cain. He went out as Cain. It's also a bit unique. So something that we need to look placeful. Now let's try to understand a bit more in a profound way what Cain is thinking for himself and what exactly his destiny, I would say it like that, okay? Cain, I'm going to surprise you, is his parents' Messiah. I need to explain this. And I'm going back one slide, and I will explain this, and then we'll read what's written down in this slide. If two people want to become close one to each other, so what do they need to do? They need to become close in their ideas, in their wish, in their will. Because if I, for example, a person from the Democrat Party, and my friend is from the Republic Party, so in those days, we have a very big debate. It's very hard to become friends because I think one is thinking that the most horrible thing that could be for America is that the president will continue, and the other one is thinking just the opposite. So we are separated. We are not on the same level. We are feeling a bit distance. It's very hard to become close one to each other. Now think about this. God gave to Adam and Eve life. So his will, his wish is only to give. We also said that God doesn't have the possibility of saying thank you in the deep understanding of that, because he is never getting anything from anyone. He doesn't really need anything from anyone. So God is the Almighty who is giving life and others. Adam and Eve are just the opposite side. They are just receiving life. They got life. So they're in a very big distance from God. They are feeling, the big gap that could be from God. They are just the other side of God. And suddenly, they are also giving life. And if they are giving life, so they're starting to get closer to God. So who came, okay? He is a Messiah for his parents, okay? From now on, they are not just receiving life and the opposite of God, far from him. They're also giving life to others. They're getting closer, they're getting similar to God. And they're managing to get closer with him. Cain is some sort of a Messiah. I will prove it later on also in another way to understand that. And then we have another verse, the next verse, that is even more surprising than the first one. You will tell me, wow, it's not surprising. After all, we already gave birth, so we know that he can give birth. It's true. But still, it's very surprising, because to give birth once, it's one thing. But suddenly, and she continued to bear his brother, Abel. And Abel was shepherd of the flocks, and Cain a tiller of the soil. But I want to explain here something very, we need to understand also a few things. First of all, it's surprising to give birth again, but this is okay, fair enough. Now we may be starting to get used to it, but why do we call him his brother? You know, the Bible is not trying to show us the relationship between people. The Bible is trying to show us something moral, trying to explain to us something else, not only the relationship between people. We know already that it's his brother. We don't need that it will be written down that it was his brother. And let's look, the title that he is his brother, even coming before his name. We need to understand his name. It's another thing. But we need to understand what exactly the Bible is trying to teach us, that it's saying that it was his brother. Something very obvious. So to understand that, I want to go back to the magic of the Hebrew language. And I want to show how the word brother is going on in the Hebrew language to 5 different levels. Okay, you with me? You can see that the word brother, it's Aleph Vechet, okay? Those 2 letters only. Aleph Vechet. It's going on to 5 levels. The first one is brother. The second one, when you're putting another letter after those 2 words, the word acher is other, not brother, but other. It's a similar, by the way, with the word brother. If you will see, you're just taking down those 2 letters, bia, and you're getting the other. Then you're getting another, you're putting another small letter, the word acharai, and the meaning of this is come after me. After me, I will lead you. I'm doing a leader. I'm a leader. Look what I'm doing, do like me. Then we're putting another letter, and it's acharav, after him. Go after him. And the most unbelievable situation is when you say the last wording, you're putting the last letter of the alphabetic, the word taf, and this is already the word responsibility. And also responsibility is under the word ach, brother. So when you're starting to understand what's happening here, the destiny of Abel is something a bit else. He is not supposed to be the Messiah of his parents. The Messiah of his parents already is by Abel. If it was only to show that man can also give life and not only to take life. So it's enough for us to have only Cain. But here we're going to teach something new in this world, okay? The word Abel is being responsible to teach something to the first one. Let's try to go back to the understanding of Cain. Cain was the first one that was born. We all remember that the first one that is born, everybody is very glad with him. Puchi Muchi, what a cute boy, what a cute girl. And the first one is, we're all proud. But when the second one is suddenly coming to this world, so we're starting to see the jealousy between the first one and the second one. Because the first one that was regular to understand that he is the main core of the family, he is the next generation of the family, he is the one that is a Messiah for his parents, that they're not only selfish and receiving life, but they're also giving life. Suddenly there's another one here in this world. For the first one, the second one is needless. I don't need him. I don't need him here. Now let's look exactly what is the word Hevel in Hebrew. Abel in Hebrew is needless, unnecessary. For Cain, in the point of view of Cain, he doesn't need anyone more. He is the main one here. That's it, enough. You don't need to bring anyone. How come there's another one here that is bothering me too much? So the destiny, now we need to understand the destiny of Cain and the destiny of Abel. The destiny of Cain, we said already, he's a Messiah. What exactly is the destiny of Abel? Abel is the educator. He's trying to educate Cain not to be selfish, not to look only on himself, not to say to himself, only I'm here, I bought everything here, everything is belong to me, I'm the main person here in this world, I'm the Messiah for my parents, he picked for me, thank you very much, that's it. There's another one in this world, and his destiny is to be with the responsibility, spoke about this word a moment ago, to educate, to teach Cain, to reduce his presence a bit, and to accept someone else in his life, just like God did in our world. And this is another thing that we need to remember. God, that his presence was here in a full-time presence, reduced himself and gave us presence, gave us place to have presence for ourselves. The same thing, the second one in the family, Abel, is teaching the first one, Cain, how to behave in the right way, not to be too much proud with himself, not to be too much with presence here in himself. So we have two kids, each one of them have a different destiny. Where do we see the different destiny? Let's go back to the verse that we saw before. Let's look for a moment what Abel did in his life. Abel was a shepherd. Wow, you see the destiny of Abel? Abel is a shepherd. He is, first of all, he is a shepherd of the folks, but the main thing that he was supposed to do, he is training on the folks, I will say it like that. The main thing is also to be the shepherd of his brother. But Cain, he was, tiller of the soil. Everything is belonged to him. He is working on the fields and everything else. This is what he's doing. Those two different destinies, those two different behaviors that we have here. Starting to see how the Bible is understanding what's happening, okay? And the main question is how to solve the brotherhood mission throughout history. From now on, this is the main question. We spoke about this also something like 2.5 months ago, and we showed along the Genesis story how this brotherhood question is a very hard one. Cain and Abel, we know that it didn't work. Then we have Abraham and his cousin Lot, where we're saying that they are like brothers and they almost have a fight. So Abraham is offering each one of them will go to a different part of the country so they won't fight and they won't kill one each other. Then we have the next generation is Isaac and Ishmael. Also we see there how Ishmael is trying to kill Isaac, therefore he is getting kicked out from the house of Abraham. We're going to the next generation, and there also Esau is saying, another few years, my father will die, and I will kill Jacob. Therefore, he is supposed to run away, okay, to live in Lavan for 23 years or something like that. Then we're going to the next generation where the brothers, and Judah and the head of them, the brothers who came from Leah, especially, trying to kill Joseph, who came from Rachel, from Rachel. And at the end, they're not killing him, they're throwing him to a place there, and then they're selling him to Egypt. And the end of this story is where they're managing to live together, the brothers, especially Judah and Joseph. And when the Messiah is coming to the Hebrew people, when Aaron, who is the oldest one, accepting Moses, who is the youngest one. Okay, it's written down there. We showed already the verses where it says that he is very happy inside himself. So to solve the brotherhood mission throughout history, it's not so simple. It's not simple. We're looking for that from the beginning of the history. We saw some sort of a small timing in King Solomon era. And we see it today in our class, for example, where we're sitting a lot of people from all sorts of places, and we're managing to sit down together. And it's like, a refresh situation for the whole world, where we will manage to bring this Noahide world movement to the whole world, like we're doing for a lot of places. There are 4 ways. I will explain another few things here. There are 4 ways how to look or how to answer the question of the brotherhood question. When we have 2 people in this world, I can say to myself, I am the master, you see the first one, and you are my slave. The most of the pagan cultures, this is what they said. So when someone conquered someone else, they took them as slaves because we are the masters and you are the slave. The second possibility is to see, or to say, I am slave and you are the master. If you will look on this very clear and very, in a profound way, you will see that this is a way that the Christian world tried to say along history. It's not that they did it, but they said it as a declaration, They declared this is the way. If I will hit you, if I will smack you on one side, give me your next side, I am a slave and you are the master. You can't really live like that. The next way to look on this is I'm a slave and you are a slave. This is more or less the way that in the Hindi area, this is how they look on this, okay? We are all very Vipassana. We are all nothing here in this world. I'm nothing here. I need to vanish. I'm a slave, you are a slave. It's a very miserable way to look at life. The right way is to say, I'm a master of this world, but you're also a master of this world. We said already once that in the circle, every part in the circle have, I will say, the main middle of the circle, okay? You can see it when you're taking a basketball and you can flip it anywhere on your finger and it will turn around. So we can look on this like, on the way, that each one and one of us who is in the image of God, okay, the whole world is turning around him. I'm a master and you're a master, but I need to give you space to live. You need to give me space to live, okay? This is the right way to do. Usually, most of the people are not working like that, or it's very hard to work on this situation. But this is exactly what the Bible is saying, okay? Love your brother just like you love yourself. I'm a master, you're a master. Okay, love your brother like you love yourself. This is the main way how the Hebrew people think and say that we need to work in this world. And if you will continue on, what happened in the next part, okay? It came to pass at the end of the days that can look good, the wordings of Genesis here, okay? We continue on from verse 3 to 7. It came to pass at the end of days. What is the end of days? It was supposed to be the end of history now. If Cain and Abel are managing to speak one with each other, those will be the end of days. I'm saying again, we're reading the Bible. We don't know what will happen now. We know because we read this already more than once. We're already adults, it's not the first time. We're not in grade 1. But when you're reading the Bible, you can see here that the Bible is trying to write down with a lot of excitement, Those are the end of days. Here it is. It came. We almost finishing, the history. And Cain brought the fruit of the soil and offering to the Lord. And Abel, he too brought of the firstborn of his folks and the fetters. And the Lord turned to Abel and to his offering. But to Cain and to his offering, he did not turn. And it annoyed Cain exceedingly, and his countenance failed. And the Lord said to Cain, why are you annoyed? And why you are countenance fallen? Let me ask a question. Who is the prophet here and who is not the prophet? Very simple question. Who is a prophet and who is not a prophet? With whom God is speaking?
God speaking to Cain.
So Cain is a prophet. We don't see that God is speaking with Abel. Look along all of the Bible, you won't see that God spoke with Abel ever. So who is the most highest level? I know that usually people are not looking at this in this way. And I'm asking you to open your mind and to look on the things in the exact way, like the Bible is saying, not like we believe for ourselves, okay? God is speaking with whom? He's speaking with Cain. Even though he didn't accept his fruits and his the things that he's offered to God, but still he's speaking with Cain. He is not speaking with Abel. Very good point to understand. And then we see the most hardest verse that we know, that the end of days didn't came still. And Cain spoke to Abel, his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. Now again, like everything else, first of all, it's not written down at all why he killed him. You agree with me? I know. I got answers when I sent the email. Why Cain killed Abel? I got few answers. It's very nice. But I'm asking what is written down. The main question is what is written down? Nothing is written down. And another question that I have, okay, is there's another question that I have. Who was more stronger? But for a moment, we'll speak about this in a moment, okay? And Cain spoke. He entered with him into words of quarrel and contentions to find, I will say, a pretext to kill him. There are Agadic interpretations on this matter, but this is the plain meaning of the verse. The plain meaning of the verse that it started to speak, and because of this speaking, he was looking for reasons why to kill him, and he killed him. So Rashi is saying to us always, I'm trying to explain what is written down as in the simplest way. But there is also what our sages are saying. And our sages are saying, I'm saying this only as an opening, because I don't think that we will have the time to go inside to this week. We'll speak about this next week. What exactly happened there between Cain and Abel. But I want to say a few points as a conclusion, okay, for what we learned now. First of all, we see that if you're looking, I will ask this question like that. Please, I'm closing the share, and so I will be able to see all of you. Who is the biggest sinner between Cain and Abel? Who did the biggest sin, Cain or Abel? But when you're giving me an answer, please try to prove your answer.
I have to say Cain, because it seems like he meditated on killing Abel. He went to the field with the thought to have a quarrel with them, to fight with them. He might not have a thought to kill him because he didn't know what killing meant. He didn't know what death meant at that time, I understand. But he went there with a purpose to cause some kind of trouble. So I think that's why Cain is the guilty person.
Okay, thank you very much. Who else wants to try?
Me, Rabbi.
Yes.
I think it's Abel because of the word he rose. It means that Cain is down that time when he rose to slew his brother.
Okay, you remember something that we learned very long time ago. It's okay, fine. So you have a different idea. Who else wants to try to say who did the biggest sin here?
Hi, Rabbi.
Yes, Chris.
I think maybe Cain, if you look at it in verse 13, he was very, how can I put it, ashamed of what he's done. And maybe he's the first person to like atone for his sins.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm hearing very nice answers. It's okay. It's fine. All of the answers are very good. Who else wants to try? Someone else wants to try?
I also think it's Cain because there is another verse that says that like sort of like his righteous blood is crying from the ground. Later on, when God will be speaking with Cain, it's saying that your brother's blood is crying or something like that. I don't remember now exactly, but so from that I think that it says that Hevel was in a way more righteous than Cain, also because God accepted his offering and not the Cain's. So I would go with the interpretation that Cain was the sinner here. Or bigger.
Okay, Netzach, thank you very much. Okay, so now I'm going to, Angela, you want to say something there? Angela and Mike.
No, it was Mike, actually. In verse 5, Rabbi, it says, but to Cain and his offering he did not turn, and it annoyed Cain exceedingly, and his countenance fell, which would bring in possibly pride and something like that.
Okay.
And so jealousy.
No. First of all, it's very good. It's very interesting. Most of the group here is saying that it was Cain. I want to try to jump for a moment. Okay, we're going to jump for a moment to the last part of the Bible. And here, just a moment, it will take me, hopefully, very fast. I want to jump for a moment to the last part of the Bible, where it's concluding all of the Bible, okay? It's the last book of the Bible. I don't remember the name of this in English. In a moment we will see it when it will rise up. And
is it Malachi?
No. After Malachi. We have Chronicles. Yes, Chronicles. Okay? We have Chronicles. I'm going to show here. I want to say that Abel was the biggest sinner, and I want to prove it in 3 ways. I have 3 proofs to show you that Abel did a bigger sin than Cain. Okay? Proof number 1. Let's go to Chronicles, chapter 1. Not Chronicle 2, Chronicle 1. Just a moment. We jumped before Chronicle 2. Chronicle 1. Don't annoy me now. And please, let's read for a moment the first few verses and tell me who is missing. Okay? Adam, Seth, Enosh, Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Metushelach, Lemech. Who is not here? Who is not here? Noach, Shem, Ham, Japheth.
Cain and Abel is not there.
Both of them are not here. You with me? Both of them are not here. Okay? We lost both of them. Okay? We lost both of them. Now let's go back to the verses that we spoke about and we showed them. I already hinted to all of you that God spoke only with Cain, not with Abel. Also, after he murdered Abel, God continued and spoke with Cain. So we're speaking about someone who is in the level of a prophecy. Abel never spoke with God. So if we're looking on the levels of both of them, Cain is a higher level than Abel. Second thing, look for a moment about the punishment of each one of them. The punishment of Cain will be, go around this world, don't stay in one space. And the punishment of Cain was that he got killed. So what punishment is more hard?
I think Cain's punishment is harder.
Sorry? Okay. To get killed and to not have any destiny in our world at all, it's not like Cain, who was only punished to move from one place to another. And at the end of the days, we know that Noah's wife was from the destiny of Cain. So we have here in this world from the destiny of Noah and from Sheth and from the destiny of Cain. We don't have anything from the destiny of Abel. So if we're looking on the punishment side, we see that Abel got punished much harder than Cain. So we're having two things here, okay? Point number one is that we have that Cain was a prophet and Abel wasn't on the level of prophecy. Point number two that we have, the punishment of Cain wasn't to be killed, the punishment of Abel was to be killed. Never mind who did it now, okay? God in his world punished Abel to be killed and didn't punish Cain to be killed. And the point number three, that the destinies that we have till today from Noah have not only from the side of Seth, but also from the side of Cain with Naamah. Okay, one of the destiny of Cain, that was the wife of Noah, and both of them together from those two destinies continued on in this world. So we see when we look on this in a broader perspective, we suddenly see there is some side to say that Abel was a bigger sinner than Cain. So you will ask me, so why God accepted the Abel presence and didn't accept Cain presence? The answer is very simple. Each one of them behaved in the exact way that he is in his life. Abel, who knows that he is a secondary, brought to God the most important thing. He brought him the firstborn of his shepherds, of his sheep. Okay? Cain, who thought that he is the most important thing here, he brought to God the most hardest things. And this is what God told him. Don't be so downfall. Don't put your face down, because you can improve yourself to learn from Abel how to behave. We see here that the one who is an educator, who is teaching others, have much more responsibility. And he might get a very hard punishment if he's not doing his job. He might be in the diaspora for 2,000 years. He might be punished by the Gentiles around the world for 2,000 years because he didn't do his job. You with me? Trying to understand what I'm saying? It's very simple. I know that it's doing not in the right usual way of thinking, because Cain killed someone. I agree, it's a very horrible thing to kill someone. We need to understand what's happening there. We will speak about this next week. We'll explain exactly what's happened there, and we'll continue on. But this week, I'm trying, first of all, to show the surprising thing of the generation when we're starting here. We could have been already in the end of days if those two brothers could have lived together, one with each other. Something stopped them from living one with each other. And the main responsibility is on Abel as an educator who didn't do his job correctly. He didn't do his job in the right way. Therefore, God said to him, go out from my world. I don't need you anymore. I will do this differently.
Rabbi, I'm sorry.
I want to say, I'm finishing. You know, this is it for tonight. This is enough. I think what I said here. I think it's bombing enough what I said here. So then you can ask questions. You can say that you disagree with me. Everything that you have in your mind. This is your time. Yes.
Rabbi, I totally disagree with you. With all respect.
Hey.
Because Abel, brought in the firstborn, and that's how he was trying to educate Cain. Look, this is what I'm doing. He has done what he was supposed to do.
Yes, probably he didn't do enough, because we see that Cain is not managing to bring from his first main things, okay, what we call the bikurim. And another thing, we'll go to this inside next week. I will show you where he failed with the education also.
But then
he didn't try enough, and he didn't try we see that, I will show this next week, okay? I will show this next week, how much he failed with the education and where God all the time interfered or tried to fill up the gap that Abel didn't took the step of doing this education of responsibility and to educate and to teach Cain for the responsibility for the others and to give space to others. And therefore he gave, at the end of the process, he lost his life. He lost everything in this world. I know,
but he should have lost his life through God, not through Cain.
This is a different story. You're asking yourself, it's true. So God, this is a very good claim that Cain will say to God. He will say to him, if you didn't want me to kill him, you would have supposed to stop me. It's a very good claim. But I won't go inside to the claim that Cain can say, okay? Or the claim that Cain can scream and shout loudly, okay? Also, the snake have a claim, or the serpent we spoke last week have a claim, but God is not asking his claim. So the claims of the others, it's a very good thing. Why God decided to take Cain as the, I will say, the messenger for this bad thing? It's a good question, but it doesn't say that he wasn't supposed to be punished in a very hard punishment, much harder than Cain.
Just, Rabbi, I also would like to voice a little bit disagreement, because you say that basically like God killed Abel, but it's not true. It's like Cain exercised his free will and Abel died as a result of a murder. Also, just that somebody dies like this is, in my opinion, not a proof that Abel was not a prophet, because we have other prophets who also died horrible deaths. For example, Yeshayahu, if I remember correctly, he was even cut very brutally with the sword. And of course, we know from the Jewish tradition that it was for his particular sin that he did, but that doesn't necessarily prove that Abel was also not a prophet. In my opinion.
No. First of all, I'm really appreciative that you that you have, all of you have the brave, and that you're screaming at me. It's okay, fair enough. I'm getting it. I'm accepting it in a lot of love. Now, I didn't say that Abel. The main thing that I said, that we don't see anywhere that God is speaking with Abel. Okay, this is what I said. We see that God is speaking with Cain before the sin, after the sin, before the he slaughtered Abel. After he slaughtered Abel, we see that God is speaking with Cain. We never saw that God spoke with Abel. Therefore, the most simplest conclusion is that he wasn't a prophet. I never said that the prophet can't be killed by men. I never said that. You're more than right. What's his name? Yeshayahu got killed by his grandson. It's very awful, this story, okay? He was killed very brutally by his grandson, Menashe, okay? King Menashe was his grandson. He was the son of the daughter of Yeshayahu. So he was a grandson he killed his grandfather. But this is exactly the situation. We need to separate, and this is something that's a bit hard for us. We need to separate for a moment between the messenger that God is sending when someone is in the end of his life, and God is saying to us that it's not good to murder others, okay? Don't kill, don't murder, okay? This is what God is saying in the 10 Commandments, also for the 7 Commandments. We're not allowed to murder others. We got questions now lately with the coronavirus from nurses around the world who are Noahide nurses, is if they are allowed to take out the needles and the equipment from old people, like the hospitals are asking them, and to move them to young people, because they know that the old people will die. And we are very cautious with this thing of saving life and not to kill anyone, also not on purpose. So those are good questions. So we are very careful. And God said to us, don't kill. But if someone is getting killed, never mind, regardless who did it now. If it was men who did it, or if it was a snake who did it, or if it was a scorpion who did it, or if it was because he fell down to the water and he got drowned, never mind why is the reason that he got killed. Okay? We know that God decided to stop his life. God is asking us not to become the messenger for those bad things. Cain didn't listen to God, and he was a messenger for a bad thing. But it's true that God decided that he was supposed to be killed, not Cain decided. Cain also, and this is one of the things that we will speak to next week, okay? Cain also had his own free will and had his own, I will say, ambitions in this situation. Therefore, he also got punished. But if he was very, I will say, clear and pure, without any self-feeling when he killed Abel, maybe also God would have said to him, thank you very much, this is what you were supposed to do. But because he had also his own feels, and he was also had his own, I will say, joy to kill him because of all sorts of reasons that we will speak next week. Therefore, God said to him, you need also to get punishment. But God is also not killing him on the spot. He's not killing Cain on the spot. He's giving him, 7 generations to understand exactly if he is a sinner or not. We will speak about this next week. So do a separation for a moment between the consequences of what Cain did and who did it, that Cain did it. Let this alone. We'll speak about this next week. The main thing that we need to know, that God decided that Abel finished his life here in this world. That's it. We don't want to see him anymore. Well, Cain is still here, and we have still the destiny of Cain here in this world. I will
definitely think about it, and it's an interesting idea. I will just let it go through my mind, and we will see.
Yeah, we have time.
I will consider this as a possibility. You have convinced me. Thank you.
Okay.
I was thinking about the word murder. Cain murdered his brother because they didn't actually Torah didn't actually tell that he murdered his brother because Abel is the first person who died. So it's probably a possibility that he didn't know when he's going to stroke his brother that he's gonna die.
What is
And it is not the purpose that he's gonna kill his brother because no one had died before. Abel is the first person that died. So how would Cain knows that if he stroke his brother, he's gonna die? So probably that's why he's not punished by that, Cain. That he was just has to wonder.
You're saying very good points. I must say that part of the our sages said something similar. Okay. But we'll go to this next week in a more profound understanding of what's happening there. But it's true that he didn't know exactly how to kill him. He didn't know exactly how to kill him. But it doesn't say. He wanted to kill him and he killed him. It's an interesting situation. What exactly was a discussion between God and Cain after he killed Abel? Okay, we need to speak about this discussion. We'll speak about this next week. Cain had,
Rabbi, I think I need more elements
just a moment.
to be able to judge who your question, like who did a worse thing, worse sin. I don't have enough elements to judge Abel because we don't know what happened. What is it that made it so terrible? How did he fail to do what his purpose was? That was to educate, and we don't have those elements to be able to judge. And the elements that we have for Cain are stronger because these are the ones that we know, but we don't know Abel's.
So you're saying very good things. Thank you very much, Lisa. You're saying very good things, and this is the main answer that you can give me, all of you. And what I said, and this is our thing now, that we will manage to define in a much more exact wording what I'm saying. We don't really have the exact understanding about Abel, but we do see from the consequences of what's happening between those two, that Abel didn't do his destiny, his job. Therefore, God decided that he is supposed to go down from the from the stage, I will say it like that, okay? From the stage of the history. While Cain still has something to give here to this world, therefore he's not going out from the stage of history, okay? And this is something that I want us to understand. And I know that it's different than what usually people are thinking, especially because we know the continuous of the story. And we say that Cain was very bad person. He also killed his brother. You know what, to kill his brother? But most probably not, from the other side, not to educate your brother, it might be even harder than just to kill your brother. Because we see that the consequences of those two, that God said to him, move aside. You're useless, you're needless here. I don't need you here. Also, God said it, not only Cain said it, God also said it. Look on this situation like a stage, okay? The world is a stage, and God is taking someone and saying to him, go down from the set. I don't need you anymore here. Cain, you're still supposed to stay. You will have something to give to this world. And from this point of view, we see that if someone is failing with his destiny of teaching, to educate, to teach the other one the responsibility, to teach the first one to give space to others, this is where God is saying, if you don't know how to do that and you didn't manage to do that, also for me, as God, you are needless enough, so I'll put you down. I don't need to see you. I don't want to see you here. So it's very bad that Cain did it, okay? God was supposed to do it by himself. But and this is something that we will learn next week. But if you're looking at this in a more broader way, I know that usually people are saying Cain was the most horrible person here. Okay, fair enough. This is what we're learning here in a different, I will say, profound way of the Hebrew sages. And look, and the way that I spoke here, what we gained from this situation. First of all, the responsibility that educators have in this world to bring the world to a place where people can give space to others. Because what happened there is that Cain didn't give any space to Abel. Like, we need to imitate God. God is giving life and giving to others the way to live here. And the way that we will get closer to God is by giving also birth to another generation. And if we don't know how to give to others space to live, this is where we are sinning. This is our sin. So it's a very, I would say, moral way of looking in this world. Okay, more questions, more things that you want to say. I have another thing to say. Maybe I will say it next week. But
So, Rabbi. So
Yes.
this is Travis.
Travis
So
is sitting very quietly all the night here. And
yeah, I've been listening and everything. I think I understand where you're coming from with Abel. It's a little deeper in the study because before the soul was sent into this world, we make an agreement with God that we're going to fulfill a mission. And so Abel is supposed to be the educator. Well, what I see here, and now that you've explained it, I actually see it, is that Abel should have collaborated with Cain and said, look, you bring of the best, your first fruits, your firstborn. And so he didn't impart his knowledge and his wisdom to elevate his brother to the same level he was, which kept him down, which allowed his self-esteem, his self to be brought down and downtrodden. And that was the big sin, is because he didn't elevate his brother along with him in his education. He knew, but he didn't give the information. And that was the big sin.
are you saying?
How did we know that though? We don't know that. Nowhere in that chapter says that he was given this responsibility. Yes, we say through the name, but
Right.
we don't have any evidence that says he was supposed to look after his brother. He didn't even get a chance to say, am I supposed to look after my brother? Cain had a chance to say that. Abel didn't even say, am I supposed to educate my brother? They're not, it seems like they're not on the equal grounds. I don't like it.
It is from the understanding of the Hebrew, which we don't understand the language because we weren't given that language. We have a new language, and the Hebrew, the Israelite, still speaks the language of God and can interpret these things for us and can see into, and they are our educators. And so in Pirkei Avos, we learn that we sit in the presence of our leaders to learn from them. And so when we question our leaders and we debate too far, we go outside of learning their knowledge into debating with their knowledge. And that's where I'm at. And I'm sorry that I jumped in here, but
no. You're saying very good things, I must say. And wait for a moment. Wait another week.
Yes, wait till next week. He's going to turn it loose on us.
And I will show you inside the Hebrew text the things that Travis said here. Okay. I will
the next episode.
Yes, because he really nailed it. And those are the words that I'm going to speak next week. And I'm going to show that inside the text. Inside the text. Just we need to read it, the text right in the right way. And we will see this. This is the way that how it was supposed to be. And another thing that Tony is saying here, and it's a very, I will say, very smart way and very sneaky way to say this. Okay, he gave this to us in the chat, that maybe the death was able destiny to teach mankind about not only murder, but also the opportunity to repent. Now, I must say that it's also right, what you're saying. Okay, what you're saying is also a good point. It's a very good point, because we can see here the possibility of repent. The only thing that we also need to remember that God is speaking about the repent before the murder, before Cain murdered Abel. So the repent is coming even before that. We will speak about this next week. We will see all of this next week. I think that the bomb that I put inside the room this week is big enough. So people need to have time to, to sleep on this for a few days. But you all know my email, and you can all send me emails. I will try to answer along the week with all of the things that I'm going around. We have here a few new people, okay? Dale, what is his name, right? You raised your hand.
Yeah.
Dale, from where are you? Just from where are you?
Virginia, United States.
Welcome. We have Migle also, right, Migle? From where are you, Migle? From where are you in the world? We can't hear you. We lost Migle, I don't know. Okay.
I'm from Dominican Republic.
Ah, wow. Welcome. So you're a friend of Lisette. You know Lisette?
Yes.
Do you know each other? Welcome. Thank you very much. Ole, good to see you again, second time. As we said, after this, oh, wow. Long time no see.
Nice.
Especially
nice to see you too.
Costello. Listen, this is the most youngest student that I had in my life. Since he was a, whoa, he's saying, good to see you. Wow, long time no see. Yes, I owe you an answer exactly where we're going to sit down. Yes, Ole.
Yeah, may I add one comment maybe, because, I liked actually very much your conclusion, because, each of us, each person is trying to judge the situation based on our own criteria, not the Torah criteria, but our own criteria. But I like very much how did you judge it, because you made the conclusions from the consequences, from the direct consequences that we very clearly see in the Torah. And that was very interesting way to make a conclusion, and I like it very much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, it's it says usually that when something is truth, it's it's sitting down on the heart in a very simple way. Now it's okay that it's hard to accept the things that I said, and you don't need to accept everything. You can, you can ask and judge. Next week, we're going to finalize this, I will say, episode of Cain and Abel, and we will see in a very simple way also that more things with the scripture, with the Hebrew scripture, and you will see how much we can learn from this chapter. And again, I'm saying those are chapters that are not related to the Hebrew nation. Those are chapters that are related to all mankind. We don't have the Hebrew nation yet. The Hebrew nation will come only in chapter 11. The end of chapter 11, we'll start to listen to hear that they are also the Hebrew people. Till then, we are all equal. Also after that, we're all equal. But with each one of us have a different mission. You know what the mission of the Jewish people? Look now, look, listen good. Now we will start to listen to what we're saying, and it's starting to be much more hard mission, Our mission is to bring the education, to educate the world in the right way of the moral level. And this is bringing us much more responsibility. If we won't behave in the right way, we saw what happened to Abel. Suddenly, when people are saying it's not funny, Lara, it's not funny. it's very, very, very tight. Now, when people are saying to us, how come you dare think that you are the most, educator in this world? You are very snob people. You are very, no. We understand what we're taking upon our shoulders. Suddenly, it's with much more responsibility. I want to remind you all that this is part of the word brother, that is continuing on in the Hebrew to the word responsibility. Our shoulders with much more responsibility to be a Hebrew person is, it's not a mistake that suddenly few rabbis, in the last 10 years started to teach people. We have today 10 languages. By the way, I'm so happy with Netzach and what he is doing also with the Brit Shalom, and that he is translating this book to the Czech language. But we have today more than the 12 languages. In lessons, we have in 8 languages. But we have 12 languages that we have translating all sorts of things. And it's not a mistake that we have this passion, to give the understanding that we have. Because we understand that if not, we see from the beginning of the world exactly, the stages and what is the meaning of the responsibility.
May I say something real quick about that? You said about the mission of the Israelite people in our Bible. When I was growing up, learning English, it says that the Jewish nation is appointed king and priest over us. And that's one thing that people don't like, is to have somebody appointed over them. So I think it's a negative connotation of the understanding, because I truly believe that the Hebrew nation is to be a leader to heaven, to Hashem, and to our teacher. And if we interpreted it that you were to be our leaders and teachers to show us how to achieve the righteousness to the Father's house, then we would understand it and be more accepting of the Israelite nation, instead of looking at them as God, as Hashem pointing you as our king to rule over us. You're our leaders. And that's what we should look at you as, a leader. And that's how we should look at it.
Travis, I like so much your wording tonight, so you can't even imagine. If you were next to me, I would have hugged you, but it's a problem with the corona.
Rabbi, I have to say something.
Just a moment. Let me say, I want to say about something. You're more than right, Travis. And look what's happening in the world. The world is moving from the understanding of teaching, to understanding of circle, and to the understanding of coaching. It's not by mistake that the world is moving to a coaching. I think that the Hebrew people are more like coaches. And when you're looking at this in this way, it's not in the negative situation, because you can take out from the others everything that they have inside them. this is the main thing of the culture. The culture, for example, let's go to the basketball player, okay? What is the culture side of the basketball team? To take out from each one of them the best that he have. And this is exactly what the Jewish people or the Hebrew people are supposed to do. The Czech Republic have one thing that is giving to this world, and it's different than the United States Republic, I will say it like that, and it's different than the Vilnius Republic, and it's different than the Norway Republic, okay? Those who are sitting in the north of it. So each one of them, and the main part of the Hebrew people is to become the culture for the nations, to take out from each one of them the right side, so we can start to live in harmony together with the leaders of those places. Because all of you started with us, so you are, I will say, one step ahead than others. But it's okay. You are the leaders today. You don't know how much, but you are the leaders. So thank you very much with your ratings. That's a very important one. Yes, Lara.
So what I wanted to say was the reason, the reason I was laughing is because, I mean, all my life, even after I read the Torah 3 times already, all my life, in my head, Cain is the guilty one, all my life. Now, all of a sudden, you got my brain going, one going this way, one going that way, and you're putting a light on something that I have never even thought. Never. If it wasn't for you today saying these things, I would never think of this, because I always thought every word I read in there, look at Cain, he's the guilty one, and now he's suffering, now he's punished, and I'm thinking Abel went to heaven because he was the righteous one. My head just got, garbled up, and I thank you for that. I appreciate it. That's why I'm very happy. I'm very grateful.
Okay, thank you very much. One of the things that we need to learn is when we are learning the Bible, one of the things that it's also supposed to bring us, I will say, to ask ourselves all the time with the starting point that we had before, how we can improve ourselves to the next stage. This is a very important point as an educator also, I will say that. The starting point is also always something that we need to question ourselves and not to accept it as it's like that because it was like that, that's it. No, let's start asking ourselves also about the starting point again and again. Unfortunately, I need to close down the meeting, and hopefully next week we'll conclude this session of Cain and Abel, and we have another very important few steps to understand about this Cain and Abel. It was great seeing you all. You're all invited also for the next week. You can bring your friends also, even though they've never heard this one, you can send them to the YouTube. They can listen to this, and you can bring your friends, you can bring others. If you have questions, try to send me along the week. I'm trying to answer, not always I have answers, right? Not always I have answers, not always I have the full time to answer, but I'm trying. And I also will connect Netzach and Doleg together, one with each other, and have a blessing week. See you all next week.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.